know I promised you a video about 2 days ago, but a couple things happened, wasn't able to get it out. But I want to go ahead and give an update to the college early signing period. Talk a little Tennessee real quick and talk about some winners and losers for the SEC. I wish I could put some graphics up, but kind of running short on time, but I wanted to put a video out there for you guys. So, Tennessee did a pretty decent job, I think, on Rivals. We finished out at 11. 24/7, I do believe we're at 14. For some reason, ESPN has us at 22. Don't know the differences between those guys. I mean, Rivals and 24/7 is pretty close, but ESPN apparently just has a vendetta against Tennessee for some reason. I don't know why. But, we finished out, top 15 in two of those ranking industries. And so, we got a couple highly touted guys that I want to talk about. A couple of surprises too, especially on the defensive line. Tyree West, he's a solid player. We've in a way flipped him from Georgia. He decommitted or was halfway committed, soft commit to Georgia for a while, whatever it was, and then kind of officially opened up his recruiting. And it was really between us and Florida State, and everybody had him going to Florida State for some reason. And he jumped ship and came to Tennessee, signed with us on Wednesday, and he looks like to be a solid player. He's got really good bend being a defensive lineman, really quick, real smart kid. I think he's going to be a major asset for this for the next coming years. I believe he could be a day one starter. We really needed some defensive line help. We had some issues stopping the run, and getting to the quarterback on third down seemed to be an issue. But we definitely needed him. And another guy we got off the edge, Pearson, he's a defensive end, a four-star kid, very talented, very long, little light. I do believe he's around the 220, 225 mark. I might have to look, but he's a little light. But he's very, very, very lengthy. He's 6'6", very good bend with his quickness. In fact, got a lot of quickness off the end. Very good. I'm excited to see what he does for us. Another guy that could be a day one starter. And Coach Eckler actually mentioned during his press conferences, talking about him after he signed, said he has the potential to lead the league in sacks. Eventually, if he put that weight on, get a little bit of muscle onto him, his natural ability, his natural bend, his hip movement, very good, very, very good. A couple guys on offense. Squirrel White is going to be a staple in this offense. Super fast guy, very, very quick. He's small. He's very, very small. He's not very, very small, but for a wide receiver, being 5'10", 155, I do believe that's his weight. He's a little bit on the small side, but for that weight, it's okay. He'll probably add about 15 or so pounds, get him up, but he is fast. This guy is absolutely electric. I've watched a lot of his film. He's got great hands. His hands are fairly big for his size. He's got great hands, great catch radius. Dude's got hops for sure. But it's a very strong slot receiver for us. I think he'll be able to fit in for Jones, take over for him pretty quickly. He is going to be a very dynamic wide receiver for us. And then we have, who else we got? We got Caleb Perry, pretty lengthy guy. Chaz Nimrod, fast, lengthy guy. It's going to be really good for us. We really went for size and speed when it comes off the edge for deep passers. I know Squirrel is a little shorter guy, but the rest of the guys are 6 foot plus, 6'2", 6'2.5", 6'3", pretty tall guys. Kind of the same build as Cedric Tillman. A couple of these guys, remind me a lot of a Cedric Tillman or Jawan Jennings, kind of that dog mentality. So we got a really good wide receiver crew, I do believe. Offensive line, we got a few good guys. Addison Nichols, 4-star kid, very solid inside offensive guard, center. He's going to be solid. He's got great hands, great movement, very strong kid. But the kid I'm really excited about seeing Oddly enough, 3-star kid Grant, I think it's Grant Bryant or Bryant Grant, something like that. Dude is going to dominate. He's an offensive tackle. He's a real tall offensive tackle. Again, one of those 6'5", 6'6" kids. Sits about 275-ish, 280. So he's on the smaller side. Would benefit definitely adding to that frame, but he has the frame to add the weight on. It's not like one of these guys that already have kind of filled out. He has the frame to put that weight on, to put the size on, to get him up to 290, 295, and he's going to be an absolute monster at offensive tackle. Dude's got great length, great hands. Every bit of the film I watched on him absolutely was dominating defensive ends, pushing him around, played on the inside a little bit, just pushing people around like it was nobody's business. Go check his film out. Go check him out. Brian Grant, I do believe is his name. So a couple of those guys, back on the offense, or still on the offense. We got running backs. Desmond Williams decided to come to us, between us and Auburn. He's going to be a solid guy. He's, I do believe he's in that 5'10" to 6 foot range, 205. He's got a lot of speed, more of the bruiser kind of style guy, but he has a lot of straight line speed. He hits the hole hard. Very good running back. But Dylan Sampson is going to be really good for us too. A little bit shorter kid, 5'10", do believe 190, 180, 190 in that range. He's quick, very, very quick guy. Reminds me a lot of like a Darren Sproles kind of style running back. Very, very, very good. He broke, I do believe, Eddie Lacy's rushing record. I don't know if it's all-time or for the season at Dutch Fort in Louisiana. Very solid running back. I'm excited to see him on the field. We really needed some running back depth. We were kind of lacking that a little bit. Once you got out of Jabari Smalls and Tylen Evans when he was there, you had Wright, you had a couple other guys in there, but, you started losing production once you got past Small a little bit. So that running back room is, I think, shored up a little bit better now. Having a bigger running back room, having that little bit larger wide receiver room, I think we're going to do pretty well there. Still waiting on to hear from Tillman to see what he's going to do. So I'm excited to see about that. He's about 50-50, I do believe, right now. Cade Mays is about 50-50 on coming back. But I believe we have some guys in this class that can fill in for if they do leave, they can take over and do just fine. It would hurt losing Cade Mays, I do believe. I think with the wide receiver group we got in and a couple of the guys that are staying around with Hyatt and Callaway and Holiday, I think we would be fine at wide receiver. And then adding, Perry and a couple of these other guys, I believe will be fine. Another guy on defense, I think it's Josiah Johnson. Let me look these names up real quick. I keep forgetting their names, but let me look them up real quick, and I will let you guys know. So James Pierce was that defensive end. He's 6'5", 220, like I mentioned. He's a tall kid. Tyree West, that's 6'4", 280. So he's got good size as well on the defensive line. Could add probably another 10 pounds or so. It'd be fine. Caleb Webb is the wide receiver. I was getting Webb and Perry mixed up. So Caleb Webb is that 6'4", about 195, 200-pound wide receiver. He's going to be the one that's going to be really good. He's got really good straight line speed for his size. Again, Chaz Nimrod, 6'3", 180, like I mentioned before. But Joshua Joseph is that other defensive end I was talking about. 4-star kid. He's going to be really good. Byron Young's still here. But I really believe that James Pierce, that other defensive end, and Joshua Joseph will be able to take over that other side and be really, really good for us. We needed that other presence there besides Young. Young did a good job, but I think if we have another one on the other end, we're going to do even better. Get a lot more pressure on the quarterback. Cameron Miller is another guy that came in. He's from Memphis, 6'2", 205, really good size. He reminded me a lot of Juwan Jennings a little bit with his size, a little bit thinner than Juwan. I do believe Juwan was around that 215, 210, 215 mark. But Cameron Miller's going to be really good for us. Maurice Clipper, I believe he might be one of the steals out of this class. awesome offensive lineman to tackle. He 6'4", 205 or 305. Sorry, very very good. Good hand, good length. I do believe he is the one. I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was Clipper, Mo Clipper. He has like an 86 or 82 inch wingspan, so he can cause separation on the line, which is a great thing for us. We needed some offensive linemen here. We got 3, and I think all 3 of them going to do great. We might have 4. We got Reddick from Detroit. That's the one. Reddick from Detroit, offensive lineman, 6'3", 278. I believe he is going to be another steal from this class. Excellent guy, another guy that has really good hands, flip his hips really easy, very, very good, can cause that separation. That's the thing we need is, some guys open up these holes, causing the separation, causing these gaps. Being able to push people around is what we need, especially with the style game we've been playing, kind of 50-50 on running the ball and catching the ball, throwing the ball. So I really think it's going to be good for us. Brian Grant, who I talked about before, he's 6'8", 270, so he's actually taller than I thought. 6'8", 270. They said he almost looks like a tight end sitting there playing tackle. He's a basketball guy, he's a really good basketball player, so he's got hops, he's got really good legs, he's very quick. That's what they liked about him. He's really, really quick. Elijah Herring's another guy, a linebacker at Murfreesboro. He's going to be really good for us. We need that linebacker depth. Caleb Perry, who I talked about before, got mixed up with Caleb Webb. Perry is a linebacker. He's pretty solid. He probably needs to add about 10 or so pounds at 215, 6'3", 215. So he could probably add a little muscle to him, about 10 pounds or so, and be good. But I've watched a lot of film on him. He's very, very good. Can recognize run plays very well, but also is really good in coverage. I really liked him. We got a couple corners too. We needed a few, and we got, I do believe we got 3. Looks like 3. Yeah, so the 3 we got Desmond Williams, Jordan Thomas, and Christian Harrison. Desmond Williams was that JUCO number 2 safety, I do believe, in the nation in JUCO. Number 1 safety, I do believe, in JUCO. Very, very good. I liked what I saw out of him. Reminds me a lot of like it's like a Nigel Warrior kind of style guy. And then Jordan Thomas, another guy, 6 foot, 188. So he's got a little bit of length to him. Can keep up and very quick. And then the same thing goes for Christian Harrison. 3-star kid's Rodney Harrison's son, so we know he's going to have some good training. His dad's going to be an asset for us to keep him in shape, keep his up to date when it comes to knowing the ins and outs of being a corner. But he's going to be really good for us out of College Park, Georgia. Having that presence with a dad that's a Hall of Famer, it's going to be awesome. So, but yeah, overall, I think this class is probably about B+, A-. I would say, anywhere from a B to A-. There's a couple guys we missed out on, not to kind of traded out Walter Nolan for Tyree West. I think Walter is a very talented guy, but I think his attitude was a little off. I think they wanted these guys to have a leadership attitude. All these guys are super smart. For instance, who was it? It was Dylan Sampson. I do believe it's him. He mentioned to Heupel that his GPA is actually higher than his 40, which is crazy. Meaning his 40 is fairly low. That's telling you his 40 is pretty low. Probably assume 4.4-ish, 4.5-ish 40 time, but his GPA is higher than that. So super smart guy. He's going into the medical field, I do believe. I think that's what he wants to do. But Heupel mentioned that 10 out of the 20 guys that we recruited were captains of their team, and then multiple state championships for these teams. And another, the last guy I wanted to mention was Tavin Jackson, quarterback, only quarterback of the class, 4-star kid, very talented guy. Come out of Mid-State Indiana, and they produced some talent at Mid-State Indiana. You wouldn't think of Indiana being really a football state, but Mid-State Indiana is where all the talent's at. Very talented kid. He hasn't lost a game in 2 years, back-to-back 15-0 seasons, state champions. I watched this kid, and he's just smooth. For being how lengthy he is, he's 6'5", 195, 200 pounds. Being that lengthy, usually your release is a little slower because you have much farther to travel. Your arms are a little bit usually longer being that tall, but even with his size, he has a very short release. Can run the ball. I do believe he's the I can't remember what he is ranking wise. Yeah, the 7th, according to Rivals, the 7th best pro style. 7th best pro style in the league. I do believe 24/7 has him at 12. But very, very talented kid. Go out and watch film on him. He's very talented. I'm excited about him. He's going to be the future of Tennessee football. We do have a couple guys in the next year recruiting class that's looking at pretty hard. Some really highly touted quarterbacks. But Tavin Jackson, man, I'm super excited about him, especially now since Hooker's coming back. That's going to be a big thing for him because most likely what happened, we were either pulled out of the transfer portal again if Hooker was going to leave and either have to play them or having to put Tavin Jackson in. And I wouldn't have minded it because I think he's college ready, honestly. He could probably, being that lengthy, he could probably add about 10 pounds, getting up to 205, maybe 210, fill out his frame a little bit better. But I really think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be the future for Tennessee. Very, very talented guy. Again, he's just so smooth. His release is so quick, and he recognizes things pretty fast. Knows when to run. He can run. He's a pro-style quarterback, but he can run the ball very well. He's got legs on him. Again, very quick release, very smooth. Can chunk the ball, man. He's got an arm on him. So I'm excited about Tavin Jackson. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about the Tennessee recruiting class. The rest of the SEC, A&M, I do believe. Let's see, I'll look it up real fast for you. So when it comes to on Rivals, Alabama finished 1, 24/7. A&M finished 1. According to Rivals, Alabama 1 5-star, 4 4-stars, 3 3-stars. Had a pretty solid class. Honestly, you didn't hear a lot about Alabama in this recruiting class. They were just a solid recruiting class. They got some good guys on here. A pretty mixed bag of guys, but they kind of, in a way, it almost seemed like, in my opinion, I didn't keep up with a lot of it on ESPN or anything, but it almost seemed like they went under the radar and still got, top 5 class, either 1 or 2. And that's kind of crazy to say. I think the whole reason that it happened was because a lot of other stuff happened. The whole thing with Florida State and I can't remember the kid's name, Travis Henry or Travis something, I can't remember now, but ended up going to Jackson State or Jacksonville State, wherever Deion Sanders coaches. He went there, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's crazy. So did not expect that at all. Nobody really did. But all that stuff happened, and it kind of took away from solid recruiting classes. A&M got, arguably the best. They won defensive line for this recruiting class. Georgia, I do believe, They came in third. We'll look at A&M real quick. Rivals A&M is at 2, A&M is at 2. They're the ones that end up getting Walter Nolan. Who's the other guy? There's another defensive tackle they got that was very good. I cannot remember his name now. Jardon Scarlett. Jardon Scarlett, whatever his name, Scarlett, from Texas. He's really good too. I think that was the other guy, I do believe. But either way, A&M had a really solid class, a really strong defensive class. They got a couple good quarterbacks, or one good quarterback, solid on offensive line, but they went defensive line and pretty heavy. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 6 defensive linemen. Then they got 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive backs and 1 linebacker, it looks like. So went strong on defensive line. Georgia again. I mean, it was almost like these teams that finished top 5 went under the radar. To me, it seemed like you didn't hear a lot of news out of them because they already had everything kind of set in place. Everybody knew where they were going. There's no big surprises, I guess you could say. So Georgia does its thing. Marvin Jones Jr. from Plantation, Florida, 5-star defensive end, of course. Singletary, another defensive back, 5-star kid. Defensive tackle, Alexander, 5-star, of course. Williams, 5-star defensive end. I mean, they went really well. Branson Robertson, 5-star running back. So of course they went. It's Georgia. They're going to be stacked, just like how Alabama is. And then you go through. Kentucky's right there, right ahead of us. They stole a couple guys from Tennessee from us. Kind of disappointed, but they have a solid class. Just to see how they're going to be coached up. They've done a pretty good job lately. I think the Tennessee-Kentucky rivalry is going to really start heating up soon, especially after this last season. I really think you can see them, starting to stay up on the top end, especially if Florida keeps doing its thing the way it has been. But I really think Kentucky and Tennessee is going to be competing for that 2 spot for the foreseeable future, in my opinion. They beat us out this year. They were 2, we were 3. I'm okay with that, because it was kind of a surprise for us. But it kind of depends on how the schedules fall. Next year, I think we could probably jump in that 2 spot as long as we can beat them. But I think it's going to be a battle with that. I think that's going to be a strong rivalry coming back in the SEC for us, for Tennessee and Kentucky. So I'm excited about that rivalry. Arkansas finished 13th. Mississippi State finished 14th. Auburn finished 16th. Missouri had a good recruiting class. Missouri surprised me on this recruiting class. South Carolina did too. They had a couple good guys come in. They're at 21. LSU ends up finishing at 26. Ole Miss 32. Lane Kiffin did not have a strong recruiting class, which is very surprising. And Vanderbilt finishes 2 spots behind them. So very, very surprising. Vanderbilt 34. And then Florida's sitting there at 47 on Rivals. They're like 65 on 24/7. So Florida has the worst recruiting class out of the SEC. They're dead last. My winners of this recruiting class, I think when you look at ratings, I do believe that Alabama, A&M, Georgia is A+ rating. I feel like Kentucky and Tennessee are pretty close, being 10 and 11. I think they're more on that, B+, A- kind of side. I think we missed out on a couple guys, but I think we went after guys that we needed, and we went after specific guys that we know they're going to have good attitudes. They want to play for us, and they didn't just base it off of NIL deals. They didn't base it off of promises, nothing. They wanted to play for Heupel, and that's the kind of guys we want. If we can build these guys up, and with the top 15 class, in the near future, next couple years, I mean, you're looking at competing with all the top teams in the SEC. You're looking at consistently being top 4, top 5, top top 5 team in the SEC consistently every year instead of being in the bottom half. I don't mind. Right now, specifically right now, I want to be back up at the top, of course. But I don't mind competing with a solid Kentucky teams. I don't mind competing with solid Ole Miss teams. I don't mind, competing with, these good mid-range teams and really fighting for getting to the top end and surprising, the top guys every once in a while. That's what I want to see. I really believe that's going to be happening soon, within the next couple years, I believe. But, I think, there, Tennessee, Kentucky, like I said, probably that, B+, A- kind of recruiting class. Arkansas, again, probably at B+-ish. Ole Miss or Mississippi State, B+. Auburn, I probably have to say they're more closer to an A. They surprised people. They were down pretty far for a while, and then they got a couple guys pretty late. I think on Rivals, they got 11 4 stars, 18 overall, 11 4 stars. And that's the consensus with this year. It's crazy because, most of the time you would see, the top end, Alabama, Georgia, A&M, they're getting 24, 26 guys, and Texas got 27. But once you start moving down, you're seeing guys like Oklahoma only had 15. They got some solid players. They had 11 4 stars and 4 3 stars. But, you're going to start seeing this. You're going to start seeing, some schools recruiting heavy in high school, and then you're going to see some schools recruiting heavy in the transfer portal. And I think a lot of these guys that's only recruited, 12 to 15 guys in the high school signing, they're going to go heavy in the transfer portal. I think that's going to happen. And Tennessee's got a couple spots. We recruited 20. I think we can have up to 25-ish. I think we can move some scholarship stuff around to next year, kind of requalify them in a way. We could have up to, I think, 28. But, yeah, I believe that, we're probably going to hit the transfer portal too and get some guys. I really do. Probably go after some offensive linemen, some defensive linemen. Probably really need to go heavy on linebacker again and corners as well. So you could probably see a couple of each of those. I think we're solid at running back now. I think we're solid at wide receiver. I think we'll be okay at quarterback. We probably might need to go get another one. Maybe another backup, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But, right now, Milton, I believe, is maybe coming back, I would assume. I hadn't heard anything else from him. So I think he still has a year of eligibility. So if he comes back, you got your backup, and if he can, get things worked out and be solid, yeah, I'm okay with him being the backup. But, yeah, so from there, Missouri surprised me, got a 5-star guy. They're probably still on that. They got 1 5-star, 6 4 stars, and then 9 3 stars. And, stars really don't matter, but I still think they probably finished at about a B+. South Carolina the same, about a B to B+. LSU, I'm going to more of a B-. Brian Kelly, didn't have a lot of time to work with. Still got a couple decent guys, got a 5-star kid. Only got 13 signees. We still have the other signing day where there's other people, other pretty good guys that are going to be coming into that one. But I think they'll recruit hard still, but I probably give them about a B- on theirs. Finished 26. Brian Kelly, it's not really his fault. He's kind of coming late. So Ole Miss, I'm giving him probably a C+. C+. They did not recruit very well. They got 17 guys, but the majority of them are 3 stars. Again, nothing against 3 stars. A lot of those guys are the better of the players that come up. As long as you can build them up and coach them well, they can be the best of your team. But they had a lot of project guys that they recruited. So they lost out on a lot of guys too. So we'll see. They got a couple guys that are good, but coming out of high school, but we'll just have to wait and see for them. But I still give them probably about a C+. Vanderbilt did okay. I mean, they got one 4-star kid, 21 3-stars, so they got 2 minus or 2 sub 3-stars, which again is not a bad thing. Those kids can be really good. Baker Mayfield was, not even rated, and ended up winning the Heisman. So you never know, but it is Vanderbilt. Give them a C, C minus. They did not do very well at all. And then you go all the way down to Florida. It's one of those things where if Florida wouldn't have got that 5-star and kind of got a couple guys late, I would have gave them probably a D minus, a D. But I'll probably give them a D plus, a C minus. They did get a 5-star kid. They only got 10 guys. So they'll probably hit the portal hard, probably hit the next recruiting signing day hard. But we'll just wait and see. I mean, they might do good. They might not. Who knows? So, but, yeah, that's my opinions on all these. I think Florida's going to be hurting if they can't get another few guys in. They're going to be hurting for the next few years. So, yeah, I think, imagine when this class becomes juniors and seniors and, you don't got a lot of guys. You're having to play real young players. You just never know. They might be down for the next few years, which is good for us, good for Tennessee if we can beat them again. It'd be great to get another win on them next year. But it always seems like no matter how bad they are, they still end up beating us somehow. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think our coach is pretty good. I think Heupel's going to take care of business with them this year. And the way our schedule falls out, I mean, you're looking from 8-4 to 10-2, I believe. I think they have us right now winning 8.5. I think that's what the consensus is on betting sites is about 8.5 wins, I do believe. So that's pretty good for us. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the recruiting class. Again, we missed out on a couple guys that some of us wanted, but at the same time, we're not Florida. So, guys, let me know what you think. I know it's kind of a long video, but just let me know what you think. The next videos will be shorter than this. I just kind of wanted to go over everything. It's kind of jamming those 3 days into one. So, again, like and subscribe, and, that'll be it. All right. Peace out, guys. Go Vols.